You haven't been forgetting to take your medicine, have you? The nurse asked me. I'm catching a little murmur. You should take it easy for a few days. The nurse's words hurt me far more than the exhaustion of the morning run ever could. Take it easy for a few days. I knew I should have kept quiet. I keep my eyes on the floor, feeling like a complete idiot. Of course I hadn't been remembering to take my medicine. I'd been rushing out of my room to get to the track before Emmy. After the track meet a few days ago, I felt inspired. So I've been running warm-up laps in the morning before Amy shows up. But then today, while she and I were running, I felt a little pain in my chest. It was only slight, and it was only for a second, so I mentioned it to the nurse. Honestly, I say, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I kept running and finished just fine, so really it couldn't have been that bad. Why do I feel like I'm making excuses to the nurse? Moreover, why do I feel a need to justify continuing to run despite the pain? Really, it comes down to me being unwilling to concern Amy, who seemed concerned anyway. I'm not sure how she was able to tell there was anything wrong, but she claims I stumbled a little. She's the one who insisted I tell the nurse, so now I feel bad for worrying her at all. The nurse is shaking his head ruefully while Amy paces outside the room. Hisao, he continues, I know it's difficult for you to get into a new routine, but if you don't want to find yourself in a lot of trouble, you're going to have to try harder. You can't afford to forget your pills, and you can't push yourself too hard. But if I don't push myself, I reply, how will I improve? I don't know where that came from. The nurse seems to have an idea. Now, he says, where have I heard that before? He laughs and pats me on the shoulder. Ha! She's rubbing off on you, I guess. His expression changes again, and he's back into serious mode. Look, I'm not saying you shouldn't push yourself, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be taking your medication, and it doesn't mean you shouldn't stop if your chest starts to bother you. I prefer not to have any fatalities while I'm on the staff here. A bit of a lofty goal, I'm sure, but I'm always up for a challenge. I hate to admit it, but I think he's right. I've got to remember to take my medication. You're right, I say. I'm sorry to worry you. Who's worried, he says. You're a smart kid, right? I know you can be responsible, Hisao. A situation like yours, you've got to learn to be responsible fast. I know. His expression suddenly becomes devious. I suppose you've started to enjoy your runs with Emmy then, eh? Yeah, I say, they've really been helping me. I mean, until today I was feeling a lot more healthy. Plus, it's really impressive to see Emmy run. Did you see her at the track meet? She was incredible. The nurse nods, grinning all the while. That she was, Hisao. I watched her first couple of races before I had some business to take care of, but she told me all about it. Kind of you to loan her your jacket, by the way. Huh? Oh, yeah, I say. It wasn't that big a deal. I'd honestly forgotten all about that. I still haven't gotten it back. The nurse gets a smile that makes me feel like he's just made a joke. Not to you, he says, but Amy certainly appreciated it. And I know she appreciates your running with her in the mornings. This one catches me off guard a little. Sure, she mentioned it's easier to keep to a schedule with an extra person, but I didn't think that I was doing her a favor at all. I thought she was doing me the favor of helping me follow the doctor's orders, I say. She tries harder when you're around, the nurse replies. If there's someone else running with her, she's going to push herself more. And she tries even harder when you're around, well, because it's you. What the heck does that mean, I say. Oh ho, he says, you'd love to know, wouldn't you? He laughs in the style of evil megalomaniacs. No, seriously, he says, it's because you're her friend. If Ren ran with her, I'm sure she'd do the same. Well, probably. But that's not the point. The point is you're helping her even if you don't know you are. And she's grateful for that even if she never says it. What do you mean, even if she never says it, I say? Emmy doesn't talk a lot, he continues, but she and I have known each other long enough that I can read her most of the time. I'll admit it, I have no idea what he's talking about. Emmy always seems pretty talkative to me. I see, I say. The nurse suddenly realizes that he's been rambling and stops talking, looking a little embarrassed. Anyway, he finally continues, you don't have to stop your morning exercise. Just walk the track instead of running for a few days. Let things calm down. And take your damn medicine. I laugh as I exit the office, bumping straight into Amy. Whoops, sorry about that, I say. Are you okay, she asks. What did the nurse say? Do you need to go to a hospital? Oh my gosh, it was my fault, wasn't it? I've been pushing you too hard, haven't I? I'm a horrible person. The words pour forth like a torrent. She's really agitated. I didn't expect her to be this concerned about me, to be honest. Got to calm her down, but how the hell do I do that? I do the only thing I can think of. I give her a hug. Emmy tenses up slightly, so I pat her head in what I hope is a reassuring manner. Hey, settle down, I say. I'm fine, okay? No worries. I can feel Emmy's body relax as I continue to assure her I'm fine. Her arms wrap around me as if she's trying to confirm that I'm not about to fall over dead. I catch a whiff of her hair. It smells like sweat or how adrenaline should smell. It's the scent of activity. And a hint of strawberries. From her shampoo, I suspect. I tell her, I just need to remember to take my medicine, that's all. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. You're sure? She asks. Her voice is muffled, mostly because at the moment her face is pressed into my chest. Yeah, I'm sure. I just need to take it a little easy for the next few days. It suddenly occurs to me how close the two of us are. It also occurs to me how nice being this close feels. I can feel Emmy's heartbeat calming down, and I have to resist the urge to rest my chin on the top of her head. Thank goodness, she says. You really had me worried there, Hisao. Emmy, you going to come in here any time soon, the nurse says. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I interrupting? The two of us spring apart as if the other just caught on fire. Emmy brushes her hair back nervously and laughs. Of course not, she says. I'll, see you later, okay? Oh, and Hisao? Take your damn medicine! This last phrase is punctuated by a punch to the shoulder. Yeah, I say, I'll remember. See you later. The nurse smiles again like he's in on some joke I don't know about, and waves to me as I head for my room, feeling a burning in my cheeks. I need a shower. A cold one, if the thoughts running through my head now are any indication. She was really soft. My pills are waiting for me when I make it to my room. I swallow them without a second thought. I don't know why I didn't think of waiting until after the runs to take them. For some reason, I figured it was when I woke up or not at all. But no, they only need to be taken every 24 hours. The exact time of day doesn't factor into it. My thoughts drift back to the hug in the hallway. It's weird. You expect someone to smell foul after a run, but for some reason, Emmy smelled right. That tinge of sweat just seemed to fit her. I really need that shower. Strange that it feels so natural for me to go up onto the roof these days. I never would have done such a thing at my old school. In those days, I liked to eat alone. No, that's not quite true. Though I like to sit alone, I also like to watch people. I always figured that was the sort of person I was, but it appears I was wrong. Then again, I also thought I was the sort of person who had a normal heart, so there you have it. I don't know myself that well. Now I'm on the roof so that I can have lunch with a couple of people. And they are both girls, which is even stranger. Oddly enough, I feel closer to Emmy and Rin than I have felt to anyone at my old school. Somehow I get the feeling they'd at least visit me if I wound up in the hospital. I focus on the view from the roof, banishing such thoughts from my head. There's a light breeze blowing, and the sun is shining high in the sky. The sky itself is a deep blue with hardly a cloud in it. It's gotten pleasantly warm, and as I sit down to wait for my friends, I close my eyes and enjoy the feeling of the sun seeping into my skin. Voices intrude upon the edge of hearing. Seems to have fallen asleep on us, Ren. Maybe he's faking to lull us into a false sense of security. Why would he do that? No idea. Still, you make a good point. We should kick him or something to make sure he's really asleep. Huh? What? Emmy looms over me like only a short girl can, peering at me intently. Oh, you're awake. I guess we don't have to kick you then. Was it part of your master plan? Rin says. What are you talking about? Emmy shrugs, her twin tails bouncing with emotion. I'm not sure either, she says. You must be pretty tired to fall asleep out here. Although it's pretty comfortable, I suppose. She plops down next to me and begins to eat. Rin sits opposite from the two of us, a move which only makes me more aware of the girl sitting next to me. If I didn't know any better, I'd swear Rin did it on purpose. I concentrate on my food, trying to tune out the majority of the conversation that Rin and Emmy are having. Despite my best efforts, however, I still find myself glancing over to Emmy whenever she speaks. I notice how she purses her lips when she's thinking about something, squinting slightly as if that would improve her thinking ability. Rin says something that makes Amy laugh, and I notice, perhaps for the first time, how she laughs with her whole body, rocking back and forth, head thrown back, almost like she's about to fall over. I probably look like a creep. It's about this time that I realize Amy's looking at me, her voice raised slightly, so she's probably just asked me a question. Huh? I say, sorry, I kind of zoned out for a moment there. Emmy rolls her eyes, while a slight quirk of her eyebrow is the only sign that Rin's even paying attention. I said, she repeats, did you get a career survey in your class too? You know, one of those, what do you want to do after high school things? I don't think so, I say. Maybe we'll get one tomorrow. What are you going to put down, she asks. That's a really good question. I guess I always figured I'd go to college after high school, but I've no idea what I'd do once I got there. And with the heart attack and all, I'd really been concentrating on each day as it came, rather than making any long-term plans. I suppose I can safely start planning ahead again. I've always liked having at least a vague idea for my future, so it'll be nice to come up with one again. Of course, that doesn't change the fact that right now I've got absolutely no clue, I say. I've always kind of assumed I'd figure it out in college, that or just become a salaryman. That's pretty popular. But do I really want to? That's a tough question. I guess I don't really want to do anything. You don't sound very excited about that one, do you? Emmy asks. She laughs as she said this, and I'm caught up in her laugh again. It's so girlish, high and giggly, like a, well, pardon the cliche, like a babbling brook. It bubbles out of her, starting in her belly and working its way up her throat. I can't help but laugh myself. It's infectious. Yeah, I say, I guess I'm pretty unhappy with the salaryman idea. But to be honest, I haven't given much thought to the future recently. I suppose that these days I've been more concerned with living one day at a time. Emmy considers this for a moment and grins. That's a pretty good idea, Hisao. I just wrote down pirate. I'm momentarily stunned, then I start laughing. I stop myself and manage to gasp out a question. You're not actually serious, are you? Emmy looks mock offended. Well, I've got the legs for it already, so I just kind of figured. Even Rin seems amused by this. Just you wait, she says. I'll be the terror of the high seas. I'll show you all. I've even been working on my pirate voice. She suddenly springs up and begins swaggering up and down the rooftop, shouting orders. Yar, me hearties, give 'em a broadside with the long guns. We'll wear their guts for garters. Do you even know what that means? Rin asks. Rin's unexpected interruption stops Emmy in her tracks. Not really, she says, but it's all in the delivery. The ringing of the bell prevents her from demonstrating her point further. Emmy dashes off immediately, leaving Rin and myself alone on the roof. Rin stares at me intently for a few moments. Is there something wrong? I ask. Rin considers this question closely for a moment. After a lengthy pause, she shakes her head. Nope. Oh, why the staring then? Rin shakes her head again. Nope, I don't get it, she says. Get what? The staring thing. You two seem to, but I don't. Great, she saw me staring. Now she probably thinks I'm a pervert or something. Actually, probably not. This is Rin we're talking about after all. Still, I feel the need to defend myself. I wasn't staring, I was just tired, I say. Rin actually snorts at this, but she doesn't say anything. No, really, I was just distracted is all. Eager to end this conversation, I head back down to class. I'm greeted by the twin specters of Shizune and Misha, looking like they mean business. Well, Shizune looks like she means business anyway. Misha just looks like she's about to start laughing at any moment. Up on the roof again, Hee-chan? You know that's dangerous, don't you? Shizune signs. That's right. The school cannot be held responsible for any injury that comes from being up there, you know. Furthermore, we could report you for breaking the rules. Misha leans in close and whispers conspiratorially. But we won't, Hee-chan. You three are too cute together. She straightens up again, laughing at my sudden blush. You're too easy to tease, Hee-chan. Hey, come on, I say. I'm still new here, sort of. Isn't it mean to pick on the newcomer like this? Nope. It's to help you get acclimated to your new surroundings. Ah, I see, I reply. Well, do you have to be so overzealous about it? Yep. Ah, that aside, Hee-chan, we were looking for you this morning, but you weren't in your room. Of course I wasn't. I was out for my morning exercise or here in class bright and early. Unlike you. Shizune looks peeved, and a beat later so does Misha, or she tries to at any rate. That was because of student council business. You should be grateful that we worked so hard for you. Oh, I am, I say. So, what did you need me for? Not another attempt to rope me into doing their dirty work, I hope. We had to give you something, but since you weren't around, we dropped it off in your room. Something, I ask, like what? Oh, you'll find it when you get back, Hee-chan. Muto entering the room ends our conversation, and we all head to our seats. It's only after I've settled down at my desk and the teachers started talking about something or other that something odd strikes me. What did Rin mean, you too seem to? Was Emmy staring at something too? For a brief moment, I considered the possibility that Amy was staring at me the way I was staring at her. Of course, that's ridiculous. So things are starting to heat up a little bit along the old Amy path here. She's concerned we have a flutter while we're out on the track because we're stupidly forgetting to take our medications, figuring that, well, we have to go running first thing in the morning, so that's keeping me from taking my meds instead of just taking them when they come back. So we've said Hisao is not the brightest, it's not the sharpest hammer in the tool shed. And in response to that, whenever we come out of nurse's office, we have a very long and caring hug in the hallway as Amy expresses her worries and fears about our health. That concern seems to carry on to the rooftop, where it starts becoming apparent to multiple people, as even Rin sits across from us, and then after our little luncheon together, sits there and says she just doesn't understand why we're sitting there, two of us staring at each other so often. So I think neither one of us really have a handle. We're starting to get suspicions, but don't really have a handle on it. Although it is nice to know that Emmy wants to be a pirate when she grows up. And what man doesn't want to run away with a pirate? That leads us back inside for the afternoon classes, where we run into the student council duo, who have, since we've firmly decided not to become part of the student council anymore, and we've stood up for ourselves, have become much more pleasant. In fact, even sit there and say that how cute it is that the three of us are spending so much time together. But they also have something that they've left inside Hisao's room. So we shall see what this mysterious object is and what it may portend for our future in the next episode.